Welcome to Battle Truth and my point of view. I don't know you, so I'm not a hater. I can only give you the facts that's written on these papers. And since we have no dealings, therefore the court can care less about your feelings. I'm the Honorable MallikiBaker, your presiding judge, chairman and spokesperson for the One United Front. You are my witnesses and jury. You may be seated. Court is now in session. Let's talk about it. ADEP HNIC is a that brother is funny. I like him, but I had to bring him up on charges. This brother, he actually one of the new up and coming bloggers, and I also want to give him some shine too. He one of these up and coming new bloggers, and I like the lane he in. I'm gonna say that I like the lane he in. Anytime you could blog and have your own lane that separates you from a lot of people, and it's just you, and that's your field, that's always gonna be good for you. So what this brother does is, you know how like the Illuminati and all these Luciferian secret society cults and sects and things like that is in the world. What he does is he incorporate that into battle rap, speaking of the same thing that they was doing in those companies and places, that it's also happening in battle rap also. And he tied things in together. You know, he do a lot of like, you know, history searching and things like that. Anyway, that's what he do. Now, I agree with him on a lot of things. Some things I don't. I think sometimes he can come off a bit too, what's the word I'm looking for? He can come off sometimes a bit inconsiderate, not compassionate enough sometimes. And that was my whole thing. He did an interview, like not an interview. He did one of his blogs, what he normally would do. And this time he was speaking about how battle rappers, family members is dying all around them as a result of them being a part of the battle rap and Luciferian Illuminati entanglements. You know, I don't really like that. So I had to bring him up on charges on night court yesterday. And it passed. And it passed. Okay, this was my problem. I understand what he was meaning and where he was getting at, because we know in the entertainment world how so many of these brothers were said to sacrifice their families and loved ones and things for the Illuminati, and sacrificing your loved ones, doing these rituals and things, your status go up higher, your money go up higher. So I knew what he was getting at. I knew what he was saying and was hitting on. The only thing about that was, I think that was that was a bit too much. Because in order to go that far, you have to have solid, hardcore proof when you're using people dead relatives as a result of their so-called initiations or rituals that they go through. And that right there, that bothered me, because that's very touchy. Like, he brought up Bill Collector's dead brother and played a clip of Bill Collector saying how he was the one found his brother. Then he brought up Holmesy's grandmother, how she passed. And again, he was trying to just say how, as a result of being a part in battle rap and these Illuminati things that's going on in battle rap, these are the results of it, that your family members are dying. That wasn't cool. Because first of all, again, you have to have solid proof on that. And I look at it like this. If you're going to use the Illuminati angle, here's my advice to him. And I told him this, and we talked on a couple of occasions behind closed door. And like I said, I like the brother. I think he got a good head on his shoulder. I just think he needs to just be humble and considerate of people's feelings when addressing certain things, especially when you use, and again, they dead relatives. This what I'm finna say. You got to have hardcore evidence on that when you saying things like that. You know what I'm saying? And even though, again, we know that these things happen in the music industry, but if you're going to use the Illuminati angle and things like that, then you have to use the whole angle. You have to use the whole angle. What I mean by that? Well, if it said that these sacrifices and things like that happens in the music industry, and these one guys who have been known to sacrifice their relatives and loved ones as a result to have more fame and make more money and reach this other level of finances, then you have to incorporate that same thing in battle rap. So if all these guys is under Illuminati and Luciferian things and satanic rituals and all that, like you're presenting it, then financially, their situations have to change. Why would they be involved in all this and they still broke, they still underpaid, they still ain't got cars, they still struggling, they still... So it should be paying off if they in agreement with it and they signed off on it. You can't just look at Smack and Beasley and them as, you know, they being a part of it, and we see their money change. If that was true, yeah, financially it changed for them, but it haven't changed for the other battle rappers who's supposed to be a part of this, or battle rappers who having sex with Beasley allegedly to get a battle. See, I don't take it that far. I don't believe it has gotten to that point, or if it ever will. Like I said, I know this stuff happens in the industry, but for what battle rap is right now, I just can't agree with it right now. Not to say that in the future it may not move to that, because again, if you start making all this money, hundreds of millions of dollars, eventually, why wouldn't they approach you? Why wouldn't they talk to you? Why wouldn't they see? You know, why wouldn't they? But for the battle rappers, like your bill collectors and Holmesies, I can't agree with that. So my advice to you, ADEP, HNIC, be a bit more compassionate, humble, and more wiser when you're putting these things together. If you're going to tie them into worshiping the devil and getting on their knees and blood rituals and sacrificing to sacrifice their family and loved ones, when you tie these brothers into deaths of people in their families and people they knew, be careful, bro. Be careful how you do that. Because again, you got the potential of being something good, special here, but you don't want to come off as some type of crazed, deranged, religious nut, a cornball. You understand what I'm saying? So even though you may have wisdom, well, I'm going to say knowledge, because there's a difference between wisdom and knowledge. Knowledge is knowing. Wisdom is the ability to apply what you know in righteousness. Okay? It's the ability to apply what you know in righteousness. And if you're going to be a rep, here's my other advice to you, brother. If you're going to be representing Jesus Christ and saying you are a representative of Jesus Christ, I would advise you, brother, not to be doing videos, drinking liquor, and smoking blunts in the name of the Lord. That's not good. That's not good at all. It's bad. Even though you could love the Lord, even though you struggle in the Lord, even though you know He true and you haven't fully crossed over, out of respect for Him, I wouldn't say His name like that and say those things and turn up a bottle and smoke a blunt behind that as being a representative of who He is. That's not good. And it looked bad for non-believers to see. It looked bad. And it put a stain on what He is, even though He's righteous. He's holy. That's another thing I want to tell people. Let me tell y'all something. Just because you may see people who say that they believers or Christians who represent Jesus Christ, Christ was righteous. Christ was holy. Christ was pure. Christ was true. Do not hold Christ guilty based upon what others do, what I do, what somebody else do. Because as human beings, we flawed, we make mistakes. Some people purposely just don't care. But don't hold that against Christ. Don't hold that against Christ. Because Christ is the example. Not me, not ADEP, not anybody in entertainment. Christ is the example. Let Him be the example and not us. Okay? So don't hold that against Christ. And again, for you ADEP brother, ADEP, here's my thing. You're very articulate. You're very knowledgeable in a lot of things you do. Bro, just use your wisdom. Be careful how you address and put things out there, man. Have a bit more compassion for others. Have a bit more compassion for others when it can't be proven. Certain things that you're saying pertaining to them, be considerate a little bit more. Just be considerate. Because, see, you could land your ideas, and I ain't trying to change things. I just want you to just be mindful, bro. And I don't want you to play yourself out. I want you to be here, bro. And I want you to actually soar, rise, do good things. And just like you was on the show yesterday, man, you're welcome to come on the show anytime. Talk, however you want to do. I don't mind helping brothers out. I really don't care. At the end of the day, because it's about being unified. And we don't wrestle with flesh and blood. Excuse me. We wrestle against spiritual wickedness in high places. So be mindful of that we love all and have compassion for all. And it's okay to rebuke. And it's okay to rebuke. It's okay to confront. But just be wise of how you do things. That's all I'm saying. And with that being said, it's your boy Battle Truth. It ain't my judgment, that's a question. If yours, subscribe to Battle Truth. You have been found guilty on the Battle Truth Night Court for sometimes just being a little bit too aggressive when delivering your message you want to deliver. Because again, sometimes, bro, you don't even have to use battle rappers as an example to expose what the enemy is doing. You know what I'm saying? You don't really have to do that. But look, if you got proof of what you do, then do it. But you have to be careful when you're bringing up these people dead relatives and tying the deaths of their loved ones into the life that they live in. You got to be careful. You got to be careful with that. You really do. Because if I had a brother that died, and it had nothing to do with me, and I see somebody on TV talking about my brother died because of me, that'll bother me, man. And I think it's very disrespectful. And again, as a brother who confessing to be a believer, you just want to be careful with that, bro. You want to be careful with that. And don't come off so rebellious, like you don't have no control. Because like the Bible say, a man who can't rule over his spirit is like a city without walls. It's like a city without walls. You know what a city without walls is? That means anything come in. It has no protection. You have no protection. You accept it. I mean, anything come in. You accept anything, allow anything. You can't be controlled. You reckless. And no, you have to bring your spirit under control. And if you're going to be saying it, you got to follow the leading of the Lord. And he teaches us to be wise as serpents, but gentle as doves. So let's just be mindful of that. We all fall short of the glory. I fall too. I mess up too. But I try to get it back together. You know? So that's just my advice to you, little bro. With that being said, it's your boy Battle Truth. It ain't my judgment that's in question. It's yours. Subscribe to Battle Truth. Join my Patreon if you ain't a member of my Patreon. As I drop on here, I drop on my Patreon. Click the link in the description box. Stroll down. Join the Patreon. It's your boy Battle Truth.